points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mindell. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
And with a sigh of relief, the Winnipeg Jets head off for the next 12 days, presumably to sunnier destinations, with a win behind them. Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. With Dave Minuk, I'm your host, Drew Mindell, here to discuss a huge win by the Winnipeg Jets, coming back from a 2-0 deficit to score not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times in the third period to take home a 4-2 victory, the final game for the Winnipeg Jets before the bye week, before the All-Star break, wherever they head off to. They know that they've done so now with a record of 32 wins, 19 losses, and 1 overtime defeat. Good evening, Dave Minuk. Nice to see you on this Monday evening, not Tuesday evening, but Monday evening, as I finally figured out when this game was going to be played. And for a while there, it looked like it was a repeat of what we've seen from the Jets over the last few games. But Josh Morrissey said, not on my watch, taking it upon himself to scratch and crawl and lead the Winnipeg Jets to victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Everybody focused on him winning the Norris, but he's becoming, and I've long held the opinion, I thought he should be the next captain of the Winnipeg Jets, but it looks like he is taking that role more and more each and every game. And he was phenomenal tonight. I thought he deserved whichever really smart analyst gave him a star tonight. I think that was well earned. I think he had 6 shots and he ended up with 7 in the end. I think it was a career high for him, but it wasn't looking good.
7 shots, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
It wasn't looking good for a significant period of time, Drew, because I jokingly said on Twitter that it looked like the Jets' resolution to not missing the net, which we've talked about for a while, which has bothered them, is just to pass the puck and not shoot at the net, so they wouldn't have to worry about dealing with missing the net.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looked like when. And one of the questions, I think it was Ian, had asked about it, and I said, well, that is when Pierre-Luc Dubois passed up a partial breakaway to make a pass, and there were so many passes that were errant passes, and you're thinking, and then with Jordan Binnington playing like a Stanley Cup goaltender, you just didn't think that the Jets were going to be able to get it done. But sure enough, it did. Remember, the Jets were on a 3-game slide, the Blues were on a 4-game slide, and so now they've got a 5-game losing streak to deal with, while Jets fans get to celebrate the first win in some time, and again, an opportunity to. It was a good game, right? It was one of those hotly contested games, and the goaltending duel in the first period was excellent. Both goaltenders were great. Were up to the task. Both had to make some really nice saves. Binnington really did, like I said, through 40 minutes. He was your first star of the game, of course, but eventually the tide turned and the Jets got back to business. So good for the Jets to pick up a win, and it really did. I mean, there was a lot of tightening of, I would imagine, on the especially with some of the situations, right? Nikolai Ehlers gets that slash to the ankle from Justin Falk, and you're not sure what happened exactly, but sure enough, he's out the next shift. That's good. And then, like I said, there was the goals that were scored. You don't love the defense necessarily by the Jets, but overall a game that they could be happy with, because they really did control, especially, I think, what was the Corsi in the second period? I think it was like 80-20. It was significally in the Jets' favor.
76-24.
Yeah, and I know that the Jets had obviously the couple of power plays, including a 4-minute double minor.
That's 5-on-5. That's 76.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, but they controlled the play.
Yes,
and what I was going to get to, Drew, was the fact that the double minor, they took a total of 1 shot, and so it wasn't as if their power play did look atrocious, and it is definitely something to work on during the break, because power play, I know I think I saw Mike McIntyre tweet that they're 1 for their last 19, and tonight I think they were 0 for 6.
The power play struggling. There's no question
Yeah.
about that, and that's going to be obviously a topic of conversation tonight on the post game show, and would be something that they would likely be working on if they weren't heading off on break. They're now off the ice until I think a week from Thursday, I believe, is the next
Yeah.
time they're going
They
to
have a
practice. They're going to
practice, yeah.
practice a week from Thursday. Thursday's what? The Thursday is the 2nd,
9th, I
if I'm
think.
not mistaken. Yeah, sorry.
They're
This
on the
Thursday's
9th.
the 2nd, and they'll be
Yeah.
back on the ice on the 9th. 9th and 10th, they're going to practice. The next game is the 11th. Against the Chicago Blackhawks, but you know, they were definitely getting goalied for a while there. Jordan Binnington was playing a
No
tremendous game, and Jordan Binnington runs really hot and he runs really cold, and he hasn't really been good this year for the St. Louis Blues. He hasn't really been great for the St. Louis Blues the last couple of years, but the first 2 periods of this game, he was terrific. And the Jets, despite being down 2-0 until until the third period, of course, they played, I thought, one of the better games in the course of this losing streak that they were in. They were faster on the pucks. They controlled the play more. And again, they should be doing that against St. Louis. St. Louis isn't a very good hockey team. They've now lost 5 in a row. It was maybe earlier in the week or last week when they lost 5-0 to the Arizona Coyotes. It was during one of the post-game shows we talked about that. So St. Louis is not a good team. And the Jets, it took them a while, but they did take it to the St. Louis Blues like you've seen them do to weaker opponents at various times this year.
Yeah.
So that there were all, throughout the course of the first 40 minutes, there were signs, particularly at 5-on-5, because 5-on-4, the Jets were atrocious, but there were signs 5-on-5 that the Jets were going to snap out of their doldrums, that they were that they were playing better. They were playing with more pace. They were playing in a manner that was more reminiscent of when they had such success at various points this season. The question was, were they going to be able to get that goal? The goal that was going to sort of break the log jam, because we know how long it had been. Open the floodgates. What they scored, 48 seconds into the game against Nashville?
Yeah.
And then, obviously they didn't score the rest of that game. It took them forever to score against Buffalo until the game was already out of hand. They didn't score anything against Philly on Saturday night. And it had been obviously 2 periods here tonight. So it had been 5 periods, without a goal. And they'd only really scored, in 2 of the past. Let me do some quick math. 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. They'd only scored 2 goals twice in the last, 11 periods of hockey that they've played, which is not, going back to the Nashville game, which is not a good number that you want to be associated with. So the question was on everyone's mind, were they going to be able to break through, or was St. Louis going to get that third goal? So was St. Louis going to get that backbreaker? But the Jets did get that all-important goal early in the third period, and you can't say enough about Josh Morrissey.
No,
because I think it was on Saturday night, or it might have been on Saturday morning, Dave, when I said to Ezzy, or I said to you and Ezzy, who in the Jets' top 6 is going to take the bull by the horns? I think it was Saturday night's post game. And I said top 6.
So you said it to Ezzy.
I said it to Ezzy, yeah. I said top 6 thinking it was going to be a forward. Well, I overlooked Josh Morrissey, and that was my mistake, because Josh Morrissey, who has been an incredible player for the Winnipeg Jets this year, as we've all documented and as we've all talked about, multiple times this year, said it's going to be me. I'm going to be the one who drags the Jets kicking and screaming through this despair that we're in, that the team is in, and we're going to come through on the other side. And he's the one who was really, I think, the catalyst for the comeback in this in this game tonight. I see a lot of comments in the chat, captain material, played like a captain, the leadership he demonstrated. And it's a bit of a cliche, and you hear it maybe a little bit too often, but not tonight. Josh Morrissey was the leader the Jets needed at a huge time for this team.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. And we've been talking about Josh Morrissey now all season long. There hasn't been a drop off. Remember, folks were like, well, 10 games, 20 games, 30 games, 40 games, now 50, over 50 games, 52 games to be precise. And there haven't been many where you couldn't say that Josh Morrissey has been one of the best players for this Winnipeg Jets club, Drew. So he just continues to solidify, and I wrote it, and I meant it. Like, he literally put the team on his back tonight in that third period. And, Colin Hellebuck had to be good and keep his team in it. But You got to give full marks to Josh Morrissey and the, look, there were other guys who had an impact on the game. I actually thought Saku Manalainen played well. He had limited minutes, but I thought he played well with the minutes that he did play. Last I checked, I think he was around the 10-minute mark, so probably finished like 11, maybe 12.
12 and a half, 12:35, in fact, for Manalainen, and 2-assist game for him.
No, I know. Yeah,
you don't expect to hear very often.
Yeah, no, I thought he was good. Like I said, you heard his name. He played a solid game, made a really nice pass on that play to was it to Dubois that when his stick exploded. So I thought he had a really nice game for the Jets. But again, like I said, I think the most important guy you have to talk about in tonight's game was Josh Morrissey. And one of the points that we talk about, and Josh Morrissey is as humble as they come in terms of hockey players, and anybody who watches him speak and knows that. So when you saw in that first goal, that is very out of character. And I'm not saying that in a disparaging manner, of course, because I don't care one way or another. You score a goal in the NHL. I think it's pretty damn awesome.
You can pull the Joe Thornton.
I wouldn't go that far. He only had 2, Drew. He didn't have 4. So let's wait till he gets to 4 before we start talking about that. Yeah. But the reality is that when you want to talk about dragging your team into the fight. And I'm not suggesting the Jets were disengaged because the Jets controlled the play. Just Binnington was excellent. Mm-hmm. But when the team watches Josh Morrissey and Colby Spence, our photographer, who's phenomenal, I've got it on our Instagram, on the Illegal Curve Instagram, got it all documented. When he celebrates, the way he celebrates that first goal, and he pumps the crowd up. When do you ever see Josh Morrissey do that? Like it's unbelievable. I was watching. I was like, who is this guy? That's not Josh Morrissey, but he did. And it was exactly what his teammates needed to see. It's exactly what the crowd needed to see. And it really was a turning point in the game because 2-0 felt like it was over. And again, we know that St. Louis isn't exactly the most, they're not exactly a juggernaut this season.
Right.
But when Binnington's playing like that and you don't think you can beat him, and I mean, he made 2 phenomenal first period pad saves on the Jets. So you're thinking he's not getting beaten tonight. And then Josh Morrissey does that, and again, not only does he get the goal to make it a 2-1 game, but then he pumps everybody up. And that to me was I honestly think it was a turning point in the game, as silly as it might sound. I really do think that his celebration, almost as significant as the goal, was what really got the crowd excited and got his teammates excited.
Look, you're absolutely right. You don't see that kind of outward emotion from Morrissey that often, but this was a time when I think it was warranted, because this is a team that, they were struggling with their confidence. They had played a good game. As we talked about, yet they didn't have anything to show for it. And when you play poorly and you don't have anything to show for it, you're like, okay, well, I played poorly. We don't deserve to have anything to show for it. But they had played well through the first 40 minutes by and large, and they didn't have anything to show for it. So when they finally get that one, he wants the team to be able to feed off of him. He wants the team to be able to feed off the energy. And so you're right. Anyone who's reading lips may have been a little bit offended, but aside from that, he was able to demand more from his teammates in response to his goal. Follow me, guys. I'm going to put this team on my back, and we're going to tunnel through this, and we're going to come out on the other side. A little bit of a Shawshank reference there, if you will. But that's what the Jets needed in that moment. So it wasn't fake emotion. It wasn't the fake emotion you see after a staged fight or something like that. It was honest to goodness emotion for trying to make his team feel better. And as a result, the Jets did feel better, and the Jets did end up winning 4-2 tonight against the St. Louis Blues. We say good evening to everyone. If you're just joining us, we welcome you to the Illegal Curve post-game show on this Monday evening. Drew Mindell, Dave Minuk with you, talking about the Winnipeg Jets victory tonight, 4-2 over the St. Louis Blues. We'll get into the game recap. It's brought to you by our friends at Betway, one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront, with a large selection of betting options and sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. No goals in the first period, despite the Jets having a 4-minute double minor with Nikita Alexandrov taking a 4-minute high sticking penalty on Kyle Connor. And the power play, as we talked about, Dave, was just really not very good at all in tonight's game. It was not good in this 4-minute double minor instance. It was not good when they had a 5-on-3, albeit a brief 5-on-3. Yeah. Had the power play been clicking earlier,
face-off win, by the way, with 25 seconds to go, would have been quite appropriate there.
It would have been.
Again, I'm not going to get into the whole face-off thing. I'm just saying, like, that's one instance where if you have a 5-on-3, you win the face-off. At least you have it in the zone, as opposed to firing it out and then, of course, then it became a 5-on-4.
Right. In any event, the power play was a struggle for the Winnipeg Jets tonight, and had they been able to click, this game may have been a lot different from the beginning. But nonetheless, it was not a successful power play. That said, it was a successful penalty kill, except for this one with Nate Schmidt in the box for holding. Jake Neighbors gets
whoa. Drew,
what?
You just yada past the most important part. Can we talk about Kyle Connor losing his ability to win the Lady Byng? I mean, the guy's a goon.
Yeah, he's a goon, all right.
I mean, what's going on with Kyle Connor? And it wasn't just that he took the penalty. It was the emotion that you saw from Kyle Connor.
You saw some frustration there, I think.
I mean, after the penalty. So I mean, it was just interesting. Red Flame saying it. He's out for blood. What a goon that Kyle Connor is. And the other thing I thought we might mention, because of course there weren't a lot of things to start off, was I thought it was and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I'm going to take over the host chair for a second.
Go ahead. Well, if you want me to cue you up, or I need you to tell me about these things.
I could have. I just, I leave it to you. You are the host. I'm just the sometimes host when you take a night off.
Thank you.
But I mean, I did think it was an interesting choice of the lines.
Yes,
before the game began.
I did mean to talk about that. Yeah.
I know you probably did. So I don't want to steal your thunder. Maybe I'll give it back to you. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to talk about it? I just thought it was an interesting choice by Rick Bowness. I analogized it to the old Nintendo ice hockey game where you had a heavy, a medium, and a light on a line, because he really did. With Perfetti on the third line, Ehlers on the fourth line. Yeah. He didn't think it was going to last very long with the Jets, but I did think it was curious, because line rushes were, they were quick. It was a very interesting warm up. Actually, Janssen Fjällby came out and he took the skate. He didn't play, of course. He was a healthy scratch. But and then, of course, Logan Stanley, he's a healthy scratch. Kyle Capobianco draws back in. I don't remember when the last time he played, actually. It's been a while for him. But he came in and was paired alongside Dylan Sandberg. And yeah, like I said, I just thought it was interesting. And we saw it periodically throughout the game. We, of course, know that the lines changed back and forth. But, points, Ehlers did play with Stenlund and Manalainen. So I just thought it was interesting by decision by Rick Bowness to kind of mix it up to try and get something going to start this game.
Yeah, no question about it. It was definitely eyebrow raising when you saw it get tweeted out during the warm up skate and everything else, because I don't think anyone expected those lines. I didn't have a problem with it. I don't expect that it's going to be a long term situation, but I thought that this was an opportunity. Look, what the Jets had been doing hadn't been working. Forward wise, loading up the top six hadn't been working recently. So maybe you spread the wealth a little bit. And there were some lines that I thought responded better than the others. We talked about, Saku Manalainen having a very good game, 2 assists. I thought he performed very admirably in tonight's game. There were other, players who maybe didn't have their best performances. I don't mind trying things that are a little bit unusual because, previously we'd seen the same old for so many years and never anything new. So I don't mind it. You do have a pretty good record. You are in a good position. This might be a reasonable opportunity to try something else, to experiment a little bit, because you have that buffer and things have been struggling as of late. So if they've been struggling with a loaded up top six, why not try and try something new? Why not try and see if that's going to, adding sort of unusual line mates to some pairs, why not see if that's going to generate something? And for some of the guys, I thought it did. Again, it's not going to be something that I expect you're going to see for the next 40 games. That would be more games than they have left in the season, so that'd be really weird. But at least the next 30 regular season games. But for a one-off when the team's been struggling, I thought it was a pretty reasonable decision by Rick Bowness to at least see what doing this is going to do for the team. You're on mute.
Sorry, I was trying to tweet out some stuff. But
I know.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree. And like I said, I don't mind a little bit of because it doesn't come across as panicking. It just comes across as we're gonna flip some things around and see what sticks. And as I said on Saturday morning show, the truth is you already have the muscle memory of the lines that you know that work. So if you can get some different combinations and guys working together, and it turns out it does work, well, that's just an extra bonus. Even though we know that both teams were desperate to, I don't know if the Blues play if this was their last game, because they know they still some teams.
They're off till the 11th also.
Okay, so I mean, both teams were desperate, right? Like again, both teams have losing streaks of 4 games and 3 games respectively, and they're looking to get out of it. So neither team really wanted to give up that come away with an L, because that leaves a bad taste, especially for St. Louis. I thought St. Louis was going to be the more desperate of the two teams, based on the fact that they're, even though they're a middling team right now. The reality for them is that, like the Jets, at least you're still in a good position. The Blues are not in a good position.
No, they're not. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But so I thought I didn't mind the how the Jets started the game with the change in the line. So yes, thank you for reminding me about that, to talk about that. I remembered, but then I'd forgotten.
It's all good. Lots going on, Drew. Lots happening.
There's always lots going on. In any event, a lot going on for St. Louis to start the game on the power play. Jake Neighbors gets his 4th of the season assist to Torrey Krug, and then unusually, I think it's his 3rd career point is what I saw, Jordan Binnington picking up the secondary assist. He starts the play, headmans it to Krug. Krug with the lead pass to Neighbors, who sneaks in behind the Jets defense on this penalty killing situation. That was Pionk and Morrissey. Both Pionk and Morrissey raised their hands, raised their sticks, thinking that it's an offside play. Play continues. Play through the whistle, guys. Play continues, and Neighbors with a very nice deke beats Connor Hellebuyck to give the Blues a 1-0 lead. I know you were in the arena, Dave. From my perspective at home, after watching the replays a couple times, it was onside. So it was it was a good play by the Blues. Clearly, it was also a good decision by the Jets by Rick Bowness to not challenge there, because from my estimation, from the replays that we were able to see while watching the Sportsnet broadcast, it was onside and would have resulted in a penalty to the Jets had they challenged the offside.
Yeah, no, and I think you're right, Drew. And initial blush, it's very hard, especially because that's the far side of the rink for us. So where our seats are. But I looked, and I was like, well, it's close, but I'm not 100% certain. And it was interesting. Again, you got to give these video coaches credit, because the fact of the matter is they've already got it queued up and probably watched 5 times by the time the refs look at Rick Bowness and his bench and decide if they want to go with a challenge or not. And they chose not. And I would say, like I said, it was a close play. I think the tie goes to the runner, so they're probably going to allow that to stand. And you don't want to put your team at a disadvantage, lose your timeout, and not, of course, have the ability and then have to kill a power play. And even if the Blues, power play hasn't been great, it's still one of those situations where you don't need to put yourself shorthanded. That relatively speaking, early in the game, despite the fact that things haven't been clicking for your team and you're not scoring a ton of goals. So. It's just an unfortunate situation. And yeah, you're right. You got the D has to continue playing. And we've said that, probably a few times too many already this season with the Jets, where there've been a couple of instances in plays where guys kind of stop playing because they're anticipating something. And we've said, maybe not a couple, like too many, but at least 2 or 3 that, including tonight, where you'd say that there's an instance of that, where they really need to just continue to play to the whistle, and they haven't. And look, that's just an unfortunate one, and it's a good goal by Neighbors.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it gives the Blues the 1-0 lead, and that's where it stands after 40 minutes. The Blues have that early 1-0 lead.
And Drew, you got to give the Jets credit for that second period, because they had virtue of the power plays, but they dominated the second period.
Yes,
Binnington was excellent. Made just a number of, I don't know what the high danger chances were in the middle frame, but
they were
off the top of my head.
I mean, according to Natural Stat Trick, they were only at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
They were only 2-1, which seems a little bit low to me. I mean, they say the high danger chances in the entirety of the game at 5-on-5 were 8-6 in the Jets' favor.
Okay,
But I thought but I mean, I don't think that's totally accurate or totally reflective of how good Jordan Binnington was through the first
excellent.
40 minutes of this game. I thought he was like tremendous.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, we've already got the first start is an easy pick out right now based on the way Binnington has played that first 40 minutes. But what do we often say? Hockey is a 60-minute game, so you don't make those selections after 40 minutes. You make them after 60, and that's why you have to play that final period.
Well, you play the final period, and the St. Louis Blues get off to a good start in the final period. With Nikita Alexandrov scoring his third of the season, and this is early in the third period. This is at the 2:02 mark, and you're wondering, is this this is a Jets team again? They're struggling to score. They haven't scored in forever. St. Louis takes a 2-0 lead. Jordan Binnington looks like he's playing a great game. So Alexandrov, his third assist to Josh Levo and Jake Neighbors. This is Jake Neighbors. He's got a goal and an assist on the game. It's his first career multi-point game in the NHL. So kudos to him for that. This one was an ugly one. Kyle Capobianco, who I thought up to this point had played a reasonable game. Like you said, this is his first game in God knows how long. It's, it's been forever since he was last on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets, it seems. He replaces Logan Stanley for today's game. Yeah. And, this is just you have to have better awareness of where your opponent is and where your teammates are, because Dylan Samberg gets beat, but he's not in a terrible position. Meanwhile, Levo is not in a dangerous position. He's,
January 3rd, by the way.
Pardon me?
The answer is January 3rd.
January 3rd is last time he played. Okay.
So the beginning of
the month. I'm surprised. I thought it would have been in December, to be perfectly honest.
Well, there was a game he played one on the 27th, and he played another one on the 3rd. But remember, the Jets had a bunch of injuries, so.
Right. I totally understand that. I don't really remember that one, but that's, it's Kyle Capobianco. They usually don't remember his games unless it's for bad reasons. So Levo is not in a dangerous position here. He's outside of the face-off circle. The Jets, are tracking back at a pretty good rate, but Capobianco comes so far over to try and take Levo, or do something, and he fails to do anything of any effectiveness here. And I'm not trying to pick on him. It's just how the play developed. He doesn't
picking on him. It's all good.
Yeah, he doesn't knock down.
I'll get a text message later. Why is Drew picking on me?
That's fair. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal, Kyle. It's just the way the game worked here. He doesn't knock down the puck.
Shouldn't you call him by his real name?
What's that?
It's funny. I was going to remember it, but now I can't remember. What did they call him on Sportsnet? Was it like? Didn't you remember they called him by the wrong name?
I don't, but I'll take your word for it.
Not on this broadcast. It was.
I know. So you're trying to get me to remember something from a month ago. First of all,
someone in the chat will remember.
Do you know how much Fireball I've been drinking lately?
No, but I think it was I think they called him Kevin Capobianco.
Maybe.
I feel like it was Kevin or something like that. Anyways, close enough.
Doesn't matter. Whatever it might be. In any event, he comes over.
Okay, Michael Mandel, let's go.
He comes over. He doesn't make any sort of play on it, and as a result, Alexandrov comes in basically on a breakaway at this point. What had been a
Bailey confirmed it was Kevin.
Okay, but he
comes in. She doesn't seem very certain though, Drew. She does have a
question mark there.
And although Tracy also is going with Kevin, and then Brass Balls Blake, interesting name. He also is going with Kevin. So
okay, so it's unanimous.
Right. So I was right. Kevin, well done.
In any event, the Blues, his miscue on this one, contributes to the Blues getting a goal at the 2:02 mark of the third period, and it's 2-0 St. Louis, and the Jets are up Bleep Creek with or without a paddle, and it seemed like they were without a paddle, but then 40 seconds later, Josh Morrissey says, "Enough is enough." And he's going to take over the game, and he's going to be the difference maker. And it starts at the 2:42 mark of the third period. It's his 9th of the year. Assist to Saku Manalainen and Neil Pionk, and it's a 2-on-1. And what we've seen for the Jets the last number of games is hesitation or a reticence to shoot. It's just been they've been trying to make things too pretty. They've been trying to make things too nice. Finally, Josh Morrissey takes a shot, and it's a good shot. I don't know if it's the best shot I've ever seen, but it's a good enough shot that I think, I think that Binnington was probably cheating a bit and expecting it to be a pass.
Probably.
But Jordan Binnington is an unconventional goaltender. Let's be polite and say that sometimes he maybe gets a little bit ahead of himself, and he doesn't play this one square up. He thinks he's anticipating the pass, but Morrissey takes the shot and beats Binnington to give the Jets to cut the lead in half and give the Jets a much needed goal to tie the game. Pardon me, to cut the lead in half from 2-0 to 2-1 early in the third period, Dave.
Yeah, and just before that it took place, Drew, you got to remember the play on Ehlers where it looked like he caught a rut. Yeah. And then, of course, he actually didn't catch a rut. Is Justin Falk gave him a nice little slash. Very well disguised.
Instead.
Yeah, very well disguised two-hander from Justin Falk. And, Ehlers is down and it doesn't look good. You don't know what's going on. He stays on the bench, so that's a good sign. And, of course, he took his next shift. But that could have been a bit of a turning point in the game for the Jets because, he's still playing, at a pretty high level.
Well, at first, I mean, again, watching on TV, I thought he maybe caught a rut.
Yeah.
And you catch a rut and your knee buckles and, immediately things that are going through your mind are ACL, MCL, some sort of knee related injury. It was sort of a relief, assuming that, Falk didn't in fact break his ankle with the slash, but it was sort of a relief.
Not.
Yeah, I imagine not as well. But I'm sure that when he takes the skate out of the boot, or he put his foot out of the boot, it'll be a little bit sore and everything else. But it was sort of a relief when you saw the two-hander in that, okay, at least it's not a knee. It's not something that's more serious than it was. It was a player giving another player a pretty good whack to the ankle.
Yeah, and look, I do wonder if that fires the team up a little bit, right? Like they're down 2-0. Guy takes a cheap shot at one of your better players.
Yeah,
and then shortly thereafter, your team gets.
Well, I mean, we talked about Josh Morrissey's celebration after getting this goal, and it was again out of character, but it was he was trying to say he's saying to his teammates, he's saying to his bench, he's saying to his colleagues, and he's saying to the fans like, let's go. We're on the board, but we got more we got to do. So let's keep.
Drew, you can say fuck. It's fine.
I know I can. I try to be polite every now and then, because then if I say it too much here, then I say it in front of the kids. Then the kids say it at school, and apparently I'm the bad dad at that point in time.
You're the cool dad. Forget about being the bad dad.
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of opinion. If I'm the cool dad or the bad dad. To the kids, I'm the cool dad. To the teachers, I'm the bad dad.
Yeah, whatever.
It's 2-1 at this point in time. The Jets tie it up. Mark Scheifele, his 30th at the 9:32 mark. So it's 6 minutes and 50 seconds after the Jets cut it in half. They tie it up at 2. Nikolai Ehlers and Kyle Connor with the assist. And this is just a brutal play by Justin Falk. I guess it's sort of turnabout being fair play. Right. He's the one who gets the two-hander on Ehlers. Doesn't get called for it or anything. But this is just, textbook. Don't do this as a defenseman. It's not like one of those plays where you're looking for a pass up the middle and sometimes it can get ugly in a breakout. I just don't know what he's thinking or what he's seeing in this play, but it's a disaster. And then Binnington is going across to try and save Ehlers, expecting Ehlers to shoot on the one-timer. Ehlers feeds it to Scheifele, and Binnington is on his heels and a little bit out of position, and again, not square to the shooter. And Scheifele beats Binnington to tie the game at 2 just before the halfway mark of the third period, and things are rocking in downtown Winnipeg.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to step back too much, but I think part of one of the plays that happened just before this, just again indicative of the way the Jets were pouring it on. It was like a shark smelling blood in the water. Right. Was the pass by Saku Maenalainen to Pierre-Luc Dubois, at which point Dubois' stick exploded.
Sure.
But again, that was
the seam pass that put that looked like Dubois was in a prime shooting position.
Oh, prime. Like you're like, okay, well, this is 2-all if he gets everything on it. And of course his stick explodes. So no, he doesn't get everything on it. But the fact is that's an important play, because for me, one of the things that you wanted to see from the Jets was not just get a goal and then try and hope that you can get, into the into the later parts of the third period and then try and tie it, force overtime. But you wanted to see a team that was going to listen, Binnington is Binningtoning us, but we need to, take control. Yeah, find a way. So, you got pumped up by Morrissey. You continued the pressure. And you're right. Look, it's significant. Mark Scheifele, his 30th goal of the season, and the crowd is just like, what the hell is going on? Like they're thinking, this is shutout hockey, and they're never, as you already, illustrated, Drew, they're not scoring a lot of goals. And then all of a sudden, in a game that's been very tight and is a 1-0 game after 40 minutes, suddenly it's 2-2. And, it's a significant assist for Kyle Connor, his 200th of his career. So he hit the 200 goal milestone, a few games ago. Now he's got 200 assists in his career. So he continues to thrive. And an important assist by Nikolai Ehlers, because again, he could have been injured, and instead he's out there getting an assist on the game tying goal. So really significant. And at this point now, of course, in the game, I'm already at home watching it on the television, but you can feel the energy in that building. And it was a decent crowd tonight. I mean, Monday games, one of the guys said to me in the press box, is Monday games are a little different, right? There aren't a lot of Monday games here in Winnipeg. So it is a bit of a.
Well, it's the only game on the NHL schedule tonight.
I know. I was laughing. I was kind of like that. What game was it when it was just all Jets? Was it that Jets Pittsburgh game? Was that? Yeah, it was the Jets Pittsburgh game when it was like Sportsnet had everything Jets, and I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. Now I didn't get a chance to watch the broadcast, of course, so I don't know about all the different segments that they did. It looked like we could see it on the television in the press box, but
you can't hear it.
No, I couldn't hear it. But like I said, you felt the energy. And I saw Phyllis make a comment. She was in her car and heard, I think she said this on the Morrissey goal, but she could hear it through the radio. She could hear, it reverberating, the sound and the fans' excitement. And I think the fans are looking for a release. The fans were looking for something.
The players are looking for a release, and the fans are looking for a release.
Yeah, of course.
And they both got it when when Scheifele tied it at 2. And then it only took another, 21 seconds. So talk about going bang, bang, Dennis Bayak.
Yeah.
Morrissey, his 10th of the season, assist to Morgan Barron and Saku Manalainen. And again, this isn't a dangerous looking play. It's a broken play, in fact.
Yep.
But they gained the zone, and they threw the puck on net, and something good happened, especially for a team that had been snake bit a little bit around the opposing goalie for a while tonight and other games. And this one just ricochets in off of Braden Shen. And it's, again, it's not, Morrissey just throwing it towards the net. There's nothing pretty about this. There's nothing exciting about it, but the players are going hard. Everybody's driving hard to the net in this instance, and good things happen when you go hard towards the net. We've seen it, we saw it with the Jets in the game against Philly on Saturday night. Philly opened the scoring, Noah Cates, when he drove hard to the net and he got a rebound. It wasn't a pretty play. There was nothing special about it. But on this one, again, you go hard to the net, it might ricochet in. It might take a bounce off of your opposition and past an unsuspecting Jordan Binnington. And that's exactly what happened here. And it sucks for Braden Shen, of course. He was a -3 tonight. I know plus minus isn't a stat you should put a lot of stock in, but there you go. Do with what you want with that piece of information. And it's a tough one for him, but the Jets are over the moon happy. And Morrissey gets his second of the game, which turns out to be the game-winning goal for the Winnipeg Jets, Dave.
And I like this comment by Bob's videos. Weird how actually taking shots instead of passing constantly results in a lucky bounce. Because I agree. I think that there's been too many instances, and we saw it early in the game where the Jets were guilty of trying to make the pass. And there's probably no more egregious one than the Pierre-Luc Dubois partial breakaway in the first period. It was for second period, right? I think it was the second period.
The one where he's coming down with Manalainen.
I'm pretty sure it was the second period.
I think it would have been the second period.
Yeah, it was the second period because it was right in front of us in our seats in the press box, Drew. So that would have been the second. But the point is that the Jets were trying too many fancy passes. Even actually, and as good a game as Josh Morrissey had, he made one of the worst ones in the first period. He had a wide open net, and he tried to pass it in front to, I think, Cole Perfetti. So there were I can't tell you how many times I wrote on the Illegal Curve Twitter, the Jets have a perfect shot, and they took a pass, and they made a pass, and they tried to make a pass, or it was too many instances of that throughout the course of this game. And then, as Bob's saying, and as we were talking about, throwing things at the net sometimes results in a lucky bounce. And that's exactly what happens. And somehow, my tweet from the Illegal Curve account is, Winnipeg is winning, ? And it said 3-2 as Josh Morrissey puts the team on his back. And he did. And we've talked about this already, but 44 was phenomenal throughout the course of this game. And because of that, the building is, the roof is being blown off because people know, look, you have to let it all out, right? I mean, at this point, you're not playing for 12 days. You're going to have some time to practice when you get back. You're expecting some guys. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break about who's coming back. And that's the injury situation. But the fact is, you've got to lay it all out there. You can't afford, because look, even though some teams like Minnesota was in a bit of a tailspin, you don't want to have to be reliant on other teams, right? The Jets have been in that situation. They needed this win more than, I'm not going to call it the most important game of the year, right? But it was, I think, of a significant factor. And look, they've done very well against St. Louis this season, right? That was their third win already now against the Blues. So they've got the Blues number. And I think I think I saw a stat, I think they're like 8-0-1 now against the Blues in their last 9 games. So they've definitely been very good against St. Louis, which is, probably a little bit of a leftover from the 2019 playoffs. But anyways, ultimately, a huge thing for the Jets. And they didn't sit back either when they had the 3-2 lead, which I thought was significant.
You're absolutely right. So they got a 3-2 lead and there's half a period to play. And, the Jets are feeling good about themselves, and the Blues are definitely sagging a little bit because they've given up 3 goals in the period. And I think I saw a stat from our buddy, Jeremy Rutherford, who of course has covered the Blues for many, many years. He's now with the Athletic. The Blues gave up 3 goals in one period for the 23rd time this season.
Is that good?
No, it's not. It's an incredible stat that 23 times this year in the 51 games they have played, they've given up 3 goals in a period. The St. Louis Blues, as we said, are not a very good hockey team. And that's, there's a stat that really can illustrate that a little bit more, just how much the Blues, when they get scored on, it seems to come in waves. 23 times they've given up 3 goals in one period. But to your point, Dave, what you were saying, with half the third period to go, the Jets were still aggressive. They, there was Gary Galley referenced it on the broadcast, that there was a time where it looked like the Blues were expecting just a one-man forecheck. I think it was Connor and maybe Scheifele came in, and there was a 2-man forecheck, and it caught the Blues by surprise, and I think it led to an icing penalty, not a penalty, an icing infraction that resulted in a face-off deep in the Blues zone because they were not suspecting the 2-man forecheck there. And that's what you want to see. The Jets did not sit back. They did not just rest on their laurels. They did not just go into a defensive shell. They were still aggressive when necessary. And really, I can't think of any what I would describe as quality scoring chances for the Blues in the last 10 minutes of the game. And then it ultimately culminates in Mark Scheifele getting his 31st into the empty net, with an assist to Blake Wheeler and Kyle Connor. And again, look who's out on the ice for the Jets when it's 6-on-5. So Binnington's out of the net, 6-on-5. Interesting who Rick Bowness decided to deploy out there. Morrissey and Pionk. Morrissey, no surprise. Pionk is, what Pionk has been this year, up and down, a little bit of chaos all over the place. But Wheeler, Scheifele, and Connor out there as well. You would have maybe thought you were going to see an Adam Lowry defending the lead, someone like that, maybe Saku Manalainen, given their skills on the penalty kill. Instead, it was the Jets' big guns. And after Kyle Connor gives his stick up to Josh Morrissey and has to go scrambling to the bench after sort of trying to tread water without the stick for a bit, he gets the stick from the bench. The puck comes to him still in the zone. He makes the smart play to get it to Wheeler, or maybe it was to Scheifele, to Wheeler, back to Scheifele. Whatever it was very well executed by the Jets down the stretch, keeping St. Louis from getting anything really towards Connor Hellebuyck, as the Jets end up winning 4-2, scoring 4 goals in the decisive third period.
Well, the question was Connor Hellebuyck going for that empty net? Was that
not terrific?
Yeah, I mean, people lament and malign his shooting ability, and I have to say it's funny because when you watch him in, I used to watch him with Dustin Byfuglien. He used to do a give and go during warm up, and now he does it. Maybe Neil Pionk and him do it. I can't remember who the defenseman is who he does it with, but and there was a point where I was of the opinion that his stick handling was getting a little bit better. I know most people would say it's still suboptimal, But the fact is that you don't.
It's head and shoulders better than where it was years ago.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it for sure.
And he does it with more confidence. He's not going to be Marty Brodeur.
No,
but he does a pretty he does
or Marty Turco.
Or Marty Turco. He's way better than where he was, and that's a credit to him and a testament to the hard work he's put in at becoming a better puck handler than he had been earlier in his career.
Yeah, no, there's no question. So I mean, it just would have been. I mean, if we think that the crowd lost their minds with Josh Morrissey scoring that goal, that first goal to cut the lead to 2-1, could you imagine what they would have done? May have pulled the Joe Thornton Drew. But the fact is that, I mean, I think even just him going for it is kind of funny. And again, probably hypes up his team quite a bit to see, him doing something like that, because look, he still had to make some big saves in terms of maintaining this win for his club. And so it's a big win for him. It's a big win for the Jets. The only other thing I meant to discuss, because I didn't know what they talked about it during the broadcast, but the too many men that was called back. I thought that was an interesting play in the course of the game, because it was funny because they called it, and I was like, oh, and everybody in the press box is like, okay, too many men. And it was funny because then all of a sudden they goes to commercial timeout, and you're like, I'm looking at the Jets penalty box. I'm like, who are they putting in there? And then Sam Gagner is like skating. You're thinking maybe Sam Gagner, but no, he didn't skate at it. They skated back to the bench, and then it turned out, like, of course. And then you watch the refs; they were all huddled up, and you're like, okay. And they didn't, of course. And I don't have a problem if they huddle and make the right call. And although it was funny though, because it ended up killing an Adam Lowry chance because he had possession of the puck, and they blew it dead because of the too many. And again, I guess it's Carson Kuhlman's got to use that speed to get off the ice a little bit quicker. But I just thought that was an interesting play worth mentioning that you don't see that very often. I don't remember, to be honest with you, I don't remember a delay of game ever being called back. That's just my thought.
It was certainly, they came back from break and like, just kidding, not a power play for the Blues. You're like, what? Okay, whatever. In any event, was another one of those interesting referee huddles that we've seen a little bit this season. But a huge third period by the Winnipeg Jets propels them to a 4-2 victory. Let's give the Seagram shot of the game to who gets it? Does it go to Josh Morrissey? For one of the two goals? We'll give it to Morrissey for the first goal.
You have to give it for the first goal.
Yeah, exactly. None of the other ones were, I would say, shot of the game worthy. But the Seagram shot of the game is brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey. You can pick that up at any of your most favorite liquor purchasing places. It's usually the Liquor Mart. I'm not sure. Maybe you're buying at Black Market. I don't know about that, but that's your business and your business only. Seagram's 83. Big thanks to Seagram's sponsor here of the Illegal Curve post-game show, along with our friends at Betway. And this concludes the Betway game recap, brought to you by, of course, Betway. It's simple, fun, and safe to bet with Betway. So head on over to Betway and bet your way. You must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. When we come back, some of the post-game quotes from the Winnipeg Jets dressing room. We have some contest giveaways to do. We're giving away tickets to an upcoming NHL game of your choosing. So maybe your name was drawn. Don't go anywhere. You need.
And that, by the way, Drew, sorry, that's appropriate because the winner of last month's contest happened to choose tonight's game. So we had that winner, and I believe his wife were at the game, and so they got a chance. They sent us some tweets and some Instagram posts. So if you too want to be like them, and I'm pretty sure I saw the person in the chat earlier, so hopefully you're still in here and you're going to be our grand prize winner. Sorry, Drew. Continue.
You're fine. Stay tuned. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. More to come. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk on a Monday night with you. We're live on YouTube and all of our social media platforms.
Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Jon Stewart, Dennis Miller, Brad Garrett, the biggest acts and all the up-and-comers. They've all made their mark at Rumors Comedy Club, North America's longest-running independent comedy club. Rumors has kept Winnipeg laughing for over 25 years. When was the last time you laughed out loud? Make it a great night out with friends or book your office or birthday party, even a fundraising event at Rumors. Get all the details and dates on upcoming shows at rumorscomedyclub.com.
He winds up. Oh, Whoa! Looks like Ezzy took that one right in the choppers.
A blistering fast puck hurts like HE double hockey sticks. That's why I let the pros at Linden Market Dental Center turn my yow into
Wow.
Get your brilliant smile back with state-of-the-art restorative and cosmetic dentistry from real pros.
And remember, always wear a mouth guard.
Now that's solid on ice advice. Learn more at lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Dave, my man, why are you in the car already? It's hours until game time.
Drew, it's because I'm stressed out right now, driving around downtown Winnipeg, looking for a parking spot, and I'm not finding one. I've lost Ginsburg. I don't even know where that guy is right now.
Dave, haven't I taught you anything? Do what I do. Pre-book your entire month's worth of game day parking with the Grid Park app. It's super easy to use and saves me both time and stress.
Well, Drew, I'm not independently wealthy like you are. So I'm sorry that I don't have millions of dollars to pre-book my parking month in advance. What's that going to cost you? $25?
How about $5?
Come on, $5? No
Yep,
way.
$5. I'm not telling you a lie. And our listeners can get a free park with the new special promo code Illegal Curve. Guess what? There's more.
Come on, there's more, Drew. You're lying to me. What more could there be?
Grid Park now has underground parking, so my car can stay warm during the game.
So wait a second. All the driving around I do, looking for parking, minus 40. You're telling me I could be toasty warm in a car after the hockey game?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Underground parking. Just download the Grid Park app. That's GRYD Park and use the code Illegal Curve. All one word. You'll park for free your first time.
Hi, it's Drew from Illegal Curve here. Selling your home can be stressful, but it wasn't for me. Thanks to my friends at Zappia Group Realty, they made the process so easy. My home sold within 48 hours and with multiple offers. Zappia Group Realty took care of everything with their exquisite customer service and attention to detail. If you want to sell your home for more in less time, get started by talking to Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty. Online at zappiagroup.com.
For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the Illegal Curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. Quarter to 11. Welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mindell, Dave Manouk here. The last time we're going to be with you on an evening show until the Saturday, February 11th. We're all going to enjoy a little bit of time with our loved ones as well. And rest assured that by that Saturday, they will be sick of us and be begging us to get back to the post-game shows. Jets win tonight 4-2 over the St. Louis Blues. Improved to 32-19-1 on the season, a point behind the Dallas Stars for first place in the Central Division. The Stars, of course, with a game in hand, but a very important win by the Winnipeg Jets. And some interesting comments coming out of the Winnipeg Jets dressing room after the game. We'll start with Josh Morrissey. Of course, he was emotional and the catalyst to leading the Jets back to victory tonight. Quote, obviously a tough little stretch run here, but we're a heck of a hockey team. You can feel the tension in the rink. Obviously, fans are getting on us, and at times, rightfully so, for sure. But we have a great team. We have a great group of guys here, and it just felt like we were playing a really good game tonight and not getting rewarded, so I tried to get a little emotion. I just kind of blacked out. We are a dangerous team at home when we've got the fans behind us, and like I said, they had every right to be honest the last few games. but it was kind of like, all right, one went in. We were just waiting for that to happen. Let's go. Let's get on the gas and get them behind us and make it the tough arena that it is to play in. So anyway, just emotion. Nice to get it. And the boys, like I said, I thought we played well all game. We found a way to grind in the third period. That's Winnipeg Jets defenseman Josh Morrissey. The quote coming courtesy of Murat Atesh, so we appreciate Murat tweeting that out. And I sincerely hope, Dave M., that Josh Morrissey, when he said, I just kind of blacked out, I hope he was referencing Old School and Will Ferrell when he made that comment. But I don't know if he would be a big enough fan or be the right age group for Old School, a great classic movie from a number of years ago.
That's true. That is true. Although there's nothing more depressing than when I once quoted that to someone and they said, I've never seen that. And I was like,
yeah, that's my point.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit, that's what I'm hoping, that he knew the quote and it's not just happenstance. I hope the generation before us, I'm not sure, what are we? If you're Gen, what are you, Gen X and I'm Gen Z?
I hate that. That stuff's also stupid.
Are they all millennials? I don't even know what the players are nowadays. Is Morrissey?
You know why you don't know? Because it's stupid. Who cares?
Because I'm too damn old. Somebody in the chat tell me if Morrissey's a millennial or a Gen Wire or whatever it is, wherever Bailey is. I
can happily say that I would never reference myself in that manner. So
that's
anyways,
probably for good reason. And anyways, somebody will fill us in on that. Here's Rick Bowness after the game discussing the Jets' resilience. Quote, they were so determined today. I could tell this morning in the meeting that they were absolutely determined to do everything they could to win this game. If it took having to get 4 in the third period, well, that's what it took. More from Rick Bowness, this about Josh Morrissey. To score 40 seconds after they got that second goal just turned the whole game around. That was a hell of a shot and a great rush. He'd been playing that way the whole game. Sometimes you step up and be the difference maker, and he was tonight, and he absolutely was. So that's from Rick Bowness talking about Josh Morrissey, and a little bit more Mark Scheifele on Josh Morrissey. He was frickin' fantastic tonight.
Ooh,
so you know what Scheifele's dropping frickin', then that means that good things happened or bad things happened, because we know he doesn't swear. So I guess in this instance it was a good use of the word frickin', not a bad use of the word frickin', right, Dave?
Absolutely frickin' right.
Absolutely, something like that. And anyways, there's some quotes from the Winnipeg Jets dressing room after their victory, and
we'll have all of that video.
Yes, where's it going to be?
A little site called legalcurve.com. It's not there yet.
Okay.
Normally I'd be hard at work with Ezzy yapping.
Yeah,
but because we got no Ez, it'll have to wait till the show ends.
Here's more from Scheifele. Quote, where is Ez, by the way? I don't even know where the hell he is. Doesn't matter. Quote, I think we needed that. I think we needed to frickin' see that we could go after a team. Really,
did he really say that frickin' again? Or
yes, he did. He said it. Oh. This is a separate frickin'. Okay. So this is a new frickin'.
A lot of frickin' going on.
I know. Hey, really put it to them. It wasn't like every shift we were dominating in the ozone, but we got on the forecheck, and I agree with that. They were the better of the two teams tonight, and they sincerely. And they sincerely deserved their victory. There's some more comments, but I'll let people read them or find them later on illegalcurve.com. So a good win for the Jets to head into the All-Star break and the bye week and whatever the hell this period of time, this lull that they're in for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I know. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see how we fill this time without having to spend it with one another. You have any plans?
I may or may not be going to some sunny destinations. We'll see.
Okay, fair enough. That's good that you're taking your bye week well as well and using that opportunity for yourself. Let's do some contest stuff. So we'll do some fun contest stuff on this Monday night edition of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Why don't you do the unique code word while I look for a tough duck hardest hitting comment, because I've been negligent in that.
Well, this is going to tie into the Manuk Moose Minute, which I'll be doing later, I hope.
Okay, yeah, by all means.
Well, I'm not going to do it yet.
Okay.
Unless you want me to do it now, and then we can tie it all in.
Do whatever you want. It's up to you.
Well,
I'm willing to defer to you.
No, I mean, it's just that the unique code word was staring you all in the face, and I don't know, and I haven't checked if anybody guessed it. I'm too lazy to check right now.
Right.
But the code word was staring you in the face. If you went to illegalcurve.com, You read yesterday's game?
We got a Tough Duck Hardest Hitting comment. I'm going to interrupt you.
All right.
I just came across this one. James Ham, you're going to be the winner of the Tough Duck Hardest.
I like
Hitting
James Ham.
comment.
James Ham is we've communicated with James Ham before. He's a good friend of Jason Bell's.
Oh, okay. Well, James,
which we don't hold against James Ham.
Well, so James is reporting that his son, his 12-year-old son, just came out of the bedroom, looked at the TV, and expressed concern about the whereabouts of Ezzy. So, James, I'm not sure what you're doing as a parent. I'm not sure if it's a positive or if it's a negative, but whatever it is, we're going to give you a Tough Duck Toque for your concern. And it's actually, maybe give it to your son. Give your son the Tough Duck Toque and say it's from Ezzy. And that should make everything a little bit better. We don't want any young children being concerned about the whereabouts of Ezzy. We don't want any young children worried about Ezzy's well-being. As far as we know, he's perfectly fine. He's just not with us tonight. Needed a night off. So, James, send me an email, drew@illegalcurve.com, or slide into my DMs @ICDrew, and we'll make sure that your son gets a toque courtesy of our friends at Tough Duck, and maybe Ezzy will even send over an autograph or something along those lines to really make your son's
day.
Shouldn't
Ezzy deliver it, kind of like the way I've been delivering things? I mean,
yeah, sure. I mean, I'm sure that's violating some restraining order, but in any event, maybe we'll get Ezzy to deliver it as well. So congratulations, James. He will wear with pride, he says. There you go. Send us that email and we'll make sure you get that toque for your son as well. Sorry, Dave, I interrupted you, but I came across
all good.
And I couldn't let it just go past.
No, Drew, when inspiration, strikes, you got to just strike while the iron is hot and let it just roll. So congrats to James Ham and to his son his son has questionable taste, allowing Ezzy to be the number one pick, but hey, that's all good, James. We're everybody has their favorites. And so that's fine. Wait, what are we talking about here?
I think, is this the win? Is this the?
Yes, that is Scott's wife. I think Johanna. There we go. So Scott was the winner of this. Johanna, this is a perfect segue now, because we gave away last month to Scott the grand prize of a pair of tickets. He got to choose. He chose the St. Louis Blues game. Good choice by Scott. They had some great seats. We gave we got some pictures of them for courtesy of Colby Spence, our photographer, who was in the chat. I don't know if he's still there. He's probably already working on the photos from tonight's game. But Colby we got some pictures, which I sent to Scott and Johanna. So thanks a lot for supporting. Thanks a lot for watching and listening. And hey, you can be like Scott and Johanna, and you can go to a game next month.
So
there's not as many games to choose from. Go ahead, Drew. You can interject there.
I was going to say that, of course, now that the month of January has come to an end, or is coming to an end tomorrow, it's a whole new start to the contest. So again, all the ballots you've entered so far, are going by the wayside. And then when we start tonight with the unique code word, you're generating more ballots and more entries for more opportunities to win Winnipeg Jets merchandise, courtesy of us here at Illegal Curve. And of course, at the end of next month, at the end of February, another name will be drawn for 2 tickets to an NHL game of your choosing. The winner, while we're doing it, for the month of January. Shall I put it on the screen, Dave M?
Oh, I don't see him in the chat right now. I know he was in earlier, but that's fine, because we always know he's always communicating with us. He's a good friend of the show. He's always helpful. And we're a big, we're happy with anybody who wins, but it's always happiest when we know the person. And Joe, we don't know Joe from Winnipeg, but you feel like you know Joe from Winnipeg.
Tweets at us all the time. Big supporter.
Exactly. Yeah. So congratulations, Joe from Winnipeg. Hopefully you're in Winnipeg. I know Joe likes to go up to the Interlake, but hopefully you are in Winnipeg when you choose the game to go to, NHL game of your choice. So congratulations, Joe from Winnipeg. You are the grand prize winner of the January contest. I believe it's still January. So Joe is the winner, and Joe gets to pick a game next February for his game. And just looking at quickly, Drew.
Yes.
There's some good games. If he chooses a Jets game, he could choose
a different. He could choose. He doesn't have to choose a Jets game.
Yeah, but he's got Chicago. He can do that unusual. There's not a lot of Jets games to choose from. Chicago, Seattle, Colorado, Islanders, and Kings. All good games, though. Actually, they're all pretty good.
Yeah,
we want to see Mason Appleton get back.
Seattle, yeah.
Exactly. So congratulations, Joe. You are the winner. And hey, guess what? Be like Joe. Be like Scott. And make sure you get your entries in to the contest. We're still going to have a draw for everybody who enters in the unique code word for the and we'll announce that winner for the Chicago game, and then we'll start a new contest also in February, which you'll be able to accumulate points from as well.
Exactly right. So congratulations, Joe from Winnipeg. You get your choice of an upcoming NHL game. Everyone else, keep entering the unique code words, keep entering, doing all the things on the contest page to generate more entries and more opportunities for you to win, be it Jets merchandise or be it the next month's selection of an NHL game of your choosing. The unique code word for tonight.
It was staring you in the face. It was staring you in the face if you paid attention. And a lot of you guys do pay attention, but I went and checked. Nobody did pick it. Say hello to the number 2, the big 6-0. Now, why would it be say hello to the big 6-0, Drew?
For Dancing Gabe.
Dancing Gabe Langlois celebrated his 60th birthday yesterday at the Moose game with 5,000 of his closest friends, singing him happy birthday, one of the most unique birthday celebrations, I'm sure, in his life. And so that is the reason why we had to stick. Usually we have it regionally, so we would have tied to St. Louis. But of course, you couldn't ignore Dancing Gabe's birthday, which was yesterday. So we had to give a nice way to honor him and give him the honor of being the unique code word. So say hello to the big 6-0 will be the unique code word to enter. And hopefully the next winner will be, dancing alongside Dancing Gabe in a jersey or a hat or a t-shirt or something.
Exactly right. So say hello, spelled out like normal, to the number 2, the big 60, the numbers, not the words, but that's all. No spaces there at all. Say hello to the big 60. Congratulations, of course, and happy birthday to Dancing Gabe, where they really would let they let Dave and I up on the Jumbotron to wish Dancing Gabe birthday wishes for yesterday's game, which was a lot of fun. And the whole Moose organization and the whole True North organization did a real good job getting a lot of birthday greetings from everybody that in the city of Winnipeg. You had Bomber players, you had Jets players, you had Goldeye players, you had Moose players, and you had media hacks like ourselves as well, giving Dancing Gabe some props on his big 60th birthday. So congratulations to everybody associated with that. It was a fun afternoon yesterday in downtown Winnipeg, just like it was a fun night tonight in downtown Winnipeg. For the latest, let's go to
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Minuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
Hey, that's my
your
time.
cue.
That's my cue. It's my time to shine. Anyways, the Moose in action, concluding their 6-game homestand yesterday in Winnipeg against the division-leading Toronto Marlies. They took 2 from Texas last weekend. They were lost Friday night in a close 1-2-1 to the Toronto Marlies. Their power play, which is the best in the league, the Moose managed to stifle them and not allow them to score on Friday night in 4 opportunities. And that theme continued into Sunday afternoon, where they didn't allow a power play goal. So the Moose have a top 10 penalty kill. They also have a top 10 power play, and they were able to get things going from the special teams perspective. And they got Cole Meyer back, and the alternate captain is a big driver of this team. He's been out for, I think, 6 games, technically 7, because that Toronto game that got postponed. Good news, I read something that the woman who had suffered the health scare off the ice, the reason why the game was postponed, I believe her partner put something out that she was doing better. So that's good news.
The one in Toronto from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
you're talking
where the game got
great news.
Yeah, I just read that about that, where the lady had, and they suspended the game. Right. But anyway, so it was really about Dancing Gabe. They handed out a poster with his favorite dance moves, and they just throughout the course, and like you said, Drew, they put things up on the Jumbotron. People wishing him happy birthday. He was constantly being interviewed throughout the course of the game, and it was another great crowd. Like I think it was 5,500 or something along those lines in the building. So even though it was frigid outside, people were real warm inside. A lot of friendly, warm Manitoba for Dancing Gabe, celebrating him and his birthday. And the team, like you said, did a real nice job on that. And Cole Meyer got things started right after getting back into the lineup. A little bit of a nifty goal. And he told me after the game that one of the advantages when you're injured is working with the skills coach, Dave Cameron, who was able to assist him and get him some work in that regard. But a pretty even game. And these are 2 pretty even teams in Toronto and Manitoba. And one of the players that plays for the Marlies leading the AHL, actually, I think he's like top 3 right now, is Logan Shaw, who folks who pay attention to the Moose will remember, because he was here obviously after he was acquired by the Moose in a trade with the Ducks. I can't remember. Did he sign? I feel like he was acquired, but regardless, Logan Shaw was here for a couple of years, and he's leading the Marlies and leading top 3 of the league. But anyways, point is that they were honoring Dancing Gabe, also honored Nolan Baumgartner, the assistant coach. He's going to the AHL Hall of Fame during their celebration, which ends after this week. The Moose will also have a little bit of a break. Some physicality, Ville Heinola. I know people don't associate that with Ville Heinola's game, but some good physicality from Ville Heinola, Declan Chisholm, and I've got that on our Twitter and our Instagram, that sort of thing. Some interesting factoids about Dancing Gabe, Drew. I did not know the reason he wore number 91 was because it was the first year he ever received a personalized jersey from the Jets 1.0 was 1991. So I didn't know that. I was not aware of that factoid. It was very interesting to learn. And sure enough, we got to, like I said, we did they did the presentation, the video. He talked about how he's proud to be, from Winnipeg and Manitoban and Canadian. And then everybody in the crowd sang him happy birthday. And then after that, we went down to the Matt Frost Media Center, and he got an opportunity to speak to, and I wasn't joking when I tweeted it. I think he actually had more cameras than Rick Bowness gets. There were probably like 10 cameras there, a lot more coverage than the Moose ever get for Dancing Gabe. And people were asking questions. I got a chance to ask him a couple of questions, but just to show you how genuine he is as a person. And I've said this kind of stuff before, but he is remarkable. I mean, everything's about him, and he just talks about how he wants to make people happy and make the fans happy. And then he comes off the podium and he sees me, and I'm like, "Oh, hi, Gabe." And he gets off, he goes high five, and he gives me, and he's, knows my name. And I, like I said, he always asks about you and Ezzy. So just a phenomenal human being. He really is just such a great ambassador for our city and for the sports teams in our city. And again, like I said, you just see like the kids love, even in the videos, like you could hear people saying, "Hey, there's Dancing Gabe." So, from top to bottom, it was a great celebration of his birthday, which again is well earned based on, how good a person he really is. And sure enough, there was a hockey game that continued to play. So Leon Gavanke, the 2017 fifth rounder, right shot defenseman, he gave the Moose a 2-1 lead with a big blast from the point. And then Oskari Salmon had to make a couple nice saves. Sure enough, Dominic Toninato got what appeared to be an insurance goal with 42 seconds left in the third to make it 3-1. But then the Marlies scored with 15.4 seconds to go to make it a 3-2 game. But ultimately,
it was an insurance goal. It
ended up being a game-winning goal.
Yeah.
It was insurance originally, then it became game-winner.
Right.
But the point is that the Moose improved to 22, 14, 2-1. I believe they're sitting 4th in points, 3rd in winning percentage, and they head out on the road. They left early this morning for Rockford. They'll play Rockford tomorrow night, and then they'll finish off against the Milwaukee Admirals Friday and Saturday night. So a good game overall for the Moose, and taking 3 wins in 4 games out of 2 division winners from the North Division winners in Toronto and the Central Division leaders in Texas. And then one other unusual thing, which you don't often see, but head coach Mark Morrison wasn't on the bench with about 5 minutes to go in the third period. And I kind of looked down and I was like, why is Mark Morrison not on the bench? And I didn't notice anything happen. And sure enough, turned out he got a stick to the head and had to go get stitches or looked after. So they actually concluded the game with Eric Dubois and Nolan Baumgartner leading the bench. But ultimately, Moose end up winning, and now they'll head on the road for 3 games in Central Division cities.
There you go. There is your Moose report, the Minuk Moose Minute, courtesy of Dave M, giving us the latest on what's happening with the Winnipeg
And
Jets.
last, Drew, I'll just say quickly because I don't want to go too long because it's already been long, but Chaz Lucius was named WHL Player of the Week. Right. He had 4 goals, 7 assists for 11 points in 4 games. So the 2021 first rounder is where he should be, I think, playing in junior and ripping it up. So that's a good thing for Jets fans.
There you go. Yes, good job touching on that as well. The Moose win, the Jets win tonight against the St.
And the Ice also won.
And the Ice always wins, so it's just not. It's more relevant when they lose, like they did. It was against Lethbridge earlier this weekend.
They lost. They went 3. They had a 3-3 out in Alberta. They beat Lethbridge, then beat Red Deer. Lost to Lethbridge, beat Red Deer, and which is good because Red Deer was the second place team. They're the first place team, and then they beat Calgary last night.
There you go. So the Ice doing some winning, the Jets doing some winning tonight, and the Moose doing some winning on their homestand as well. That's it for us on this Monday evening. We're going to be off until Saturday morning, but we'll be back Saturday morning with the Illegal Curve Hockey Show back here at 9 a.m. on our YouTube channel. Of course, the next post-game show not until Saturday night, February the 11th. So we have a little bit of time. I hope you get to spend some quality time with your loved ones as we take some time apart from one another. I'm not
Although,
talking
Drew,
to Dave. I'm talking to everyone in the chat here.
Yeah.
More than Dave, of course.
Absolutely. And I just want to quickly, because John Chan asked, as did I think Tico Napoli, they wanted to know quickly an update on Brad Lambert, the 2022 first rounder who was assigned to Seattle. He played 2 games with Seattle. I believe he still has a visa issue. So I looked, someone asked me today on Twitter, and as far as I can tell, he has not played. They actually just played Portland the other night.
So he can play the games in the. So
he played the games in Canada. He played the games in Canada. He couldn't play the games in the States.
Gotcha.
So when Seattle was here in Winnipeg, he didn't play that game against the Ice. But then they went to Saskatoon, and he played the Blades. But the point is that he didn't get any of the games when they got back to the U.S. So I believe it is a visa issue for Brad Lambert, and so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
There you go. So Dave giving all sorts of updates both on the ice and in the geopolitical realm of things as well. Is there anything?
Sorry, Drew. Continue with the.
Thank you. Is there anything Dave M can't do? And what I was saying is we'll be back. We'll be here Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Illegal Curve Hockey Show. Come back and join us. We'll be here next Saturday morning. That's February 11th, 9 a.m. as well. Illegal Curve Hockey Show, and then the post game show returns later that night, close to midnight, with that 9 o'clock home puck drop against the Chicago Blackhawks. In the meantime, illegalcurve.com. That's your home for anything to do with the Winnipeg Jets, Manitoba Moose, Winnipeg Ice, anything hockey related. Be sure to check it out on illegalcurve.com. A big thank you to all the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club. Kyle Bottom at Rumors this week, and I'm reliably informed a new promotion starting at Rumors. So maybe you haven't been spending enough time with your loved one. Well, Thursday night is date night at Rumors. All the information and tickets available, rumorscomedyclub.com. Dr. Les Reikus and the team at Linden Market Dental Center. Talk about a coincidence. I'm reliably informed that Dr. Les Reikus will be at Rumors on Thursday, not performing, but in attendance. So there you go. All the worlds are colliding here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty, our friends at Betway, Tough Duck, Boston Pizza, Seagram's, Rolly's Transfer, Grid Park, and The Keg support these great businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. As he's absent, Dave M is here. I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you again on Saturday morning. We hope everyone's safe in the meantime. It's going to be weird not spending, not getting together every 24 or 48 hours for the next little bit. But in the meantime, everyone be well, and we'll see you again on Saturday morning. Thanks so much for joining us. This has been the Illegal Curve post-game show.